Hi class, my name is Sergio and my ethical analysis presentation will be on privacy in the workplace. The ethical actor in our analysis is going to be the employer, and the ethical action being put under review is the action of monitoring the employees. Um, as we all know, uh, if you work in an office or in any environment where there's computers involved, chances are that your employee is to an extent monitoring your actions. And this is because most employers feel that it's their right to snoop on employees in an order to protect company interests. However, employees can often feel as their rights are being violated, and today we will discuss whether this action is ethical or unethical. Before we continue, I'm going to try to put forth both points of view from the employer and from the employee. So let's talk about our employer's point of view and why monitor its employees. There's many reasons for this, but to talk about a few, for example, employers monitor their employees to prevent confidential information from landing in the hands of other companies and competitors or customers and other employees that are not allowed to view it. Another reason is to keep employee productivity from going down and to maintain a professional environment in the workplace. Also, monitoring employees can help in evaluating employees' performance, thus allowing the employer to properly reward its responsible workers. Perhaps what is most important and why most employers monitor employee actions is to keep legal compliance and to keep liability in check. So let's talk about our employees' point of view. So why do employees think that employee monitoring is wrong? There's many reasons why you could discuss this is wrong, but for example, employees may often feel that there are too many restrictions being put in the workplace. Um, this can lead to an increase in stress and hostility. Also, employees may feel resentful towards their employers because they may feel like as they're being treated like children, being watched over. Um, Perhaps the most important concern of employees is that information being gathered by employers about employees may reveal personal preferences such as religion, sexuality, political views, and opinions that you as an employee and as a person might want to keep private away from your employer. So before we go on to discuss whether this is ethical or unethical, um, on a federal level, there's a law that basically is the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, which prohibits the government from unreasonable searches and seizures. However, the Fourth Amendment does not apply directly to private employers. So basically, the employer um, can do as much monitoring as he wants without any reason why. For example, there are states that have passed their own laws protecting the privacy rights for employees, meaning that if you are a private employer, it's difficult for you to monitor your employees without any reason whatsoever. So, is employee monitoring ethical or unethical? Um, Using the utilitarianism theory, which basically states that an action is good if it is for the greater benefit of both parties, one could say or will have to argue that computer monitoring of employees can lead to a greater good in the sense that there will be more productivity in the workplace. Um, Employees will be more mindful of their work hours and take less breaks. A greater level of professionalism is enforced, which can attract smarter and dedicated employees. For the employer, there's of course the benefit that there might be an increase in financial gain due to the increase in productivity, which can also in turn lead to employee financial gains in forms of bonuses and rewards and even pay raises. So, taking this point of view, you can argue that this this action of monitoring employees can lead to a greater good for both parties. And why might this be unethical? Why might monitoring employees be unethical? We're going to use the same utilitarianism theory, and we can argue that continual monitoring of employees may not be for the greater good of both parties. For example, if employees start to feel bad or too mindful of the employer monitoring them, there can be an increase in communication and socialization between employees because of fear of expressing themselves, may get them in trouble, and they might not want to say things that might um, worry the employer. This could lead to a downturn in productivity as communication between employees is vital in getting things accomplished. You could say if productivity drops, this has a negative impact for the employer and for the employee as well, as there could be consequences such as job termination. If there is less production in the work environment, this could lead to less financial gains, and maybe the employer can decide to lay off employees. So, in this point of view, employee monitoring can affect both parties and definitely not help anyone involved. So having put forward are both sides and why can this be ethical or unethical, let's talk about a little bit about what does the research show. And research shows that the majority of employees expect to be monitored while at work. This expectation is often higher in jobs where securing clearance is vital. Most employees understand that proper behavior is vital to a productive work environment and monitoring helps enforce this. However, the large majority of employees expect a reasonable balance in monitoring action, in monitoring the employees while also respecting the employees as much as possible. So to conclude our ethical analysis, in my opinion, I believe that employee monitoring is ethical for the simple reason that an employer needs to keep a productive and professional work environment. An employer also needs to make sure no company property or secrets are stolen or mishandled improperly by the employees. Um, Definitely, computer monitoring helps achieve these goals because employees are aware of consequences of improper behavior, thus maintaining a responsible and issue-free environment. All this is without a doubt a benefit to both parties.